Welcome back, everyone. I'm Omar from blackastrology.com, and in today's video I got a chance to sit down and talk to Dominique Moore. She's the creator of mysticaltransformations.com and the Astrology Club on ClubHouse. I was able to talk to her about some of the things that got her started in astrology, as well as what prompted her to begin the Astrology Club and the Rich Rising Room. So I hope you enjoyed the conversation. I'll put some links in the description below. I hope you enjoyed the video. Leave a comment below or like and subscribe to the channel. So enjoy.
But you already do videos and stuff, so.
No, yeah, the videos, they're well edited. Let's say that. Okay, Dominique, thank you for joining me today. I appreciate you making time to chat with me. So just a quick introduction. I have Dominique Moore here on the call, and you are the creator of transformations.com, and the creator of the Astrology Club on ClubHouse, and a host of other things. So thank you again for joining me.
Thanks for having me.
Good, good. So I just wanted to talk to you and really just one, commend you for a lot of the good work you're doing on the Astrology Club, and really get a feel for what really brought you into astrology, and sort of see how that began for you, and sort of see where the conversation goes. Awesome, great. So tell me a little bit about when you really started to dig into astrology, and when it became a serious study for you.
Oh, well, okay. So I've always been sort of into astrology. Grade school, we had, but it was mainly on just the sun sign studies. It wasn't until, I don't know, maybe about four years ago when I really started to see other people use it more for other reasons other than just sun sign astrology, like let's say making decisions or things like that. I'm like, how could you turn to astrology for things like that? That's when it started to really my interest in the study actually intensified. But I would say over the past 2-3 years I've really been actually taking clients and things like that.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, I mean, I think, like, for myself, I know a lot of my study in the early astrology study took, shape when I really realized that there's astrology is a tool, and we can use it really to help, like you said, with decision making, and ultimately with learning about ourselves, right? Have you seen that as well?
Oh, absolutely.
Hmm. Yeah. So what really prompted you to, I know Clubhouse is a new app, right? But what really prompted you to start an astrology club on Clubhouse?
Well, I started the Astrology Club mainly because I wanted to find and connect with other people who share the similar interests in astrology. Um, you know, the route I was going, just looking for people online, you have to pay for all these different memberships to be a part of these different clubs. And I wanted something that was more affordable, and
Hmm.
we can just sort of get in there and nerd out and share our experiences as well. And it was available for all levels of astrology, whether you're a novice or a practicing professional of 15 years or more. We can all just meet in one spot and just share our insight and information on the language of astrology.
That's awesome. And when did you really realize, like, the power behind it? And you started, because after joining your club is when I really started to learn, about other people, networking with other astrologers, and really get different perspective on a lot of views. When did you really start to understand sort of the power behind that club that you created?
I still have it actually. A lot of people they're like, "Oh my God, you did the astrology club." I'm just like, "It's club. It's not even my app." But so many people have benefited from it. Clientele. I've gotten a lot of more clientele from the app, just from the app,
Hmm.
and just made a lot more solid connections with people who share the similar interests. It's a beautiful thing. I get messages daily, emails and DMs on IG or whatever, talking about how much just being able to speak the language of astrology with someone else and have other people just get them has been a beautiful opportunity. So yeah, I'm still trying to figure out how powerful it actually is, but I've seen a lot of people or heard a lot of feedback from people who said that it's been really life-changing for them.
Yeah, no, I would echo that sentiment too, because one of the things where I really appreciate about the Astrology Club, and why I really jumped at the chance to be an admin as well, is because I thought it gave people an opportunity, like you said, to learn, right? Whether you're just starting out or you're an expert, sharing your perspective on what makes astrology special to you. And in some of the rooms that we host is very good for novice people, but it gives you also the chance to really dive in deep and jump into the details of it. And one of the things that I've heard too is that the astrology club is really good for people who want to learn the fundamentals. And I find that it's very hard for a beginner to really understand where to start looking, and not only where, but if certain sources are reliable. And I think the astrology club gives people an opportunity to sort of hear different perspectives and really learn from people actually doing the work. So tell me a little bit more about, I guess, what made you fall in love with astrology, like the passion behind it. I know you told me when you started off learning about the sun sign astrology, but then you really started to dig deeper. Like, when did it really become real for you?
So astrology became real for me is when I started to really implement it in my everyday life, mainly for my children. I
Hmm.
feel like astrology has really helped me become a better mother. Um, just looking at the moon sign in your chart tells us so much about your mother, your relationship with your mom. But then when you look in your children's chart, it's like, wow, this is how you experienced me.
Right.
And it's like, we know there's a shadow side and an illuminated side to every sign. And um, being able to like really focus on that illuminated side of the sign and being able to implement things in our everyday life that are going to accommodate them and embrace that, so that way they can be better humans for this world. Also, looking at how they learn. All of our kids, they learn differently, and understanding how they are experiencing their everyday experiences just by looking at their chart, and being able to just decode that and implement it daily. So that's one of the
Yeah.
things that I really like about astrology.
Yeah, that's a great point, right? Because when we look at our charts, we sort of see how we experience the world, but then to learn how our children experience the world is something different too, right?
Absolutely.
Our relationship with them, is sort of what we see, but then looking at their chart, we can see how they see us, and whether that be in a negative way or positive way, we can help really to shape that, right? And it's all about perspective, in my opinion, with astrology, right? It's about how can you put yourself in that situation to see things objectively, and seeing things from your kids' eyes is definitely a great help with regards to raising children. So I definitely agree with that as well. um, so when you say using your astrology in your everyday life, one of the things that I think about is the rich rising room that you do in the mornings, which it's a really big hit, and I definitely appreciate those rooms that you do in the clubhouse on the rich rising room. So talk to me about that. What was really what made you wanted to do that in the morning, especially when you say it's not good morning, it's rich rising. Tell me a bit more about that. I love that.
I love the Rich Rising Room. I love the community that it has been able to form. Um, so the Rich Rising Room, the inspiration behind that, it's an accountability space. I know we have our rooms, all throughout the day, but just to have a space that we can just show up to first thing in the morning. So I initially wanted to start a podcast, but it just felt weird. I felt like I was talking to myself. So I was like, oh, cool, this whole Clubhouse thing. Maybe I can do it on here and actually get some real-time feedback. And that's how it kind of, and it just blossomed from there. A lot of people come up and then they'll share their stories. And I keep the topic related to the current planetary ruler of the day.
Hmm.
And that way we can just really use it throughout the day and provide each other with astro inspo, as we like to say, to make sure that our day has started off, rich and abundant. And we carry all the messages that we've learned and we share it in the morning, in the Rich Rising Room, and we implement it throughout the day. And then we just have something else that we can talk about the next day, and it just keeps on going.
Yeah, that's awesome. It's sort of like you're pulling in or using the energy of that day, right? The planetary energy for that day, and using it to really fuel, your decision making, or just really, uplift your spirits and motivation, right? Do you see that actually playing out in the days when you do the Rich Rising Room?
Oh yes, definitely, definitely.
Yeah. No, and what's great is that, and I've heard you say this once or twice in the room, that um, you never thought of yourself as like a great speaker, right?
No.
But and it's so crazy to me that you would say that, because when I listen to you in the Rich Rising Room, all I hear is someone who is just really, confident, or at least very well spoken with regards to how you express yourself and your ideas. And would you attribute any of that to like either the daily practice of speaking, or even in your chart? Do you see something that would suggest something like that?
Oh my God. Okay, so I have my Chiron is in Mercury. There I go. Then my Chiron is in Gemini.
Okay, gotcha.
So
Yeah.
you already know, like it
Uh,
can manifest as stuttering, as just an inability to communicate your thoughts effectively, or shyness to speak, whatever. And that's been my issue. I actually took public speaking 4 times in college.
wow.
4 times in college. It was terrible. And the last time I took it, it was done online. And then I barely passed. And but I made it through. So that was the initial reason for my desire to start a podcast. I wanted to overcome that fear, because I'm like, I can't be up here motivating my children, and I'm suffering from the same thing as well. So I figured this would be a really good opportunity to conquer this fear. And that is what Chiron does. Chiron is, the psychic wound that we carry into our everyday experiences. And once we are able to master Chiron, because we can't actually heal Chiron, we can master Chiron and learn to work with Chiron in our whatever sign it's in our chart. We become the master of it and become a great teacher in that. So that's what I said I wanted to do. I wanted to use the Rich Rising Room as my daily practice to just conquer that fear and to get the real time feedback. And in the midst of doing all that, I was able to inspire other people and pull them out of their shell. So I'm sure you've been in the room before and you've heard me like just pull people on the stage, and then once they get up, they're like, oh my God, I was so afraid to speak in public. And now, they're hosting their own rooms, and it's
Yeah.
such a beautiful thing.
No, it's so crazy how astrology works, right? And that's why, I love it. It's sort of, it tells you I like to say, it tells you the potential and the kinetic energy, right? The potential you have, but you have to activate it and make it kinetic, right? So when you mention, Chiron and Gemini, it's like the wounded healer aspect, right? You have difficulty communicating, so, but through your expression, you help to teach people to communicate, right? And I think that's one of those lessons that you're learning, and you're teaching other people, and you're really sharing that. And I think that's awesome. And I think that's really one of the reasons why the Rich Rising Room, and even more broadly the Astrology Club, is so unique, right? Because it gives people the opportunity to, one, ask questions that they may think are stupid, or that people won't take time to answer, and two, it gives people a chance to express their thoughts on astrology, and sort of throw things at the wall and see what sticks. So yeah, I think that's amazing, and that's why it makes me laugh when I hear you say, "Oh, I wasn't a great speaker," because that's all I hear is a great speaker.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's awesome. Um, so one of the other questions I wanted to ask you is, like, through your astrology journey, what has it really opened up for you in terms of learning new things, in terms of broadening your horizon, and, like, if you were able to draw a line from learning about your chart to other things that you've learned to another thing that down the rabbit hole, what would be some of those things that you've really dug into?
So as with astrology, astrology has opened so many doors for me, and it has just um, influenced my interest in subjects that I never thought I would be interested in. And astrology is everywhere. Like you can go to the grocery store, right?
Yeah,
Look
yeah.
at your chart, and you're like, holy smokes, this is third house Leo going on. All this Like I see it, and it's hilarious. Like, so the type of people that you get to experience in life, that's astrology.
Mm-hmm.
And knowing your mood fluctuations, that's your lunar return. Like so it's like, okay, well, I'm going to be having a bad, week here. I may not want to schedule this trip, ruin everybody's day or something.
Right.
It's just, I love it so much. And then yeah, but the main thing that I really love about astrology and how it's changed my life is with my children.
Mm-hmm.
Really looking at how they learn, really focusing on their Mercury placements. With it being in the fixed sign, they may learn a little slower than others,
Mm-hmm.
or
Mm-hmm.
they may need to, if it's in Taurus, they may need to learn with more sensory items, things like that. Um, and it's really changed how I parent, how I move throughout life, my everyday life, and it's just added more fluidity with everything,
Oh
uh,
yeah.
checking the chart, not stalking my chart every day, obsessing over it, but, just checking the transit, seeing what's going on with everyone, what can we expect? And then, we can't change the transits. We can't change anything about it. All we can do is sort of embrace for impact. So if I see something difficult going on, it's just like we're going on a roller coaster ride, so if we're getting ready to make a sharp left turn or something like that, I'm going to just sort of, okay,
Embrace
you know,
yourself.
brace ourselves, and then
Yeah.
you know
No, that's a great point. And then, like I have Mercury in Taurus, which makes me, I'm a very repetitive learner, right? It takes me like 3, 4 times to really learn something. So knowing that about myself, it's like, all right, I gave myself the time to learn, right?
Mhm.
And that's one of those things that help me, master like the way I learn and the way I approach certain things. And again, to your point, I love how you say it, like on a roller coaster, you see that turn coming or you see that dip, you can't change it, but you can say, all right, let me brace for impact, right?
Absolutely.
And even, I find it so funny when I look at transits or even like, Mars and Gemini and where it's affecting in my 11th house. It's like, oh, let me prepare for, how I communicate with friends or how they communicate with me. So you could kind of like be on guard a bit.
Mhm.
And like you said, not necessarily obsess over it, but just understand that these are the things that you may be challenged with in the next couple days or weeks, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's so. Now with the astrology, have you found yourself diving into like cardology or even tarot or anything like that that you've
Yeah.
really like used astrology as a jump a launching pad to get to the something different?
Yes. So human design and
Uh,
cardology. I tried
mhm.
tarot. Tarot is not really my thing. It's just
Okay.
too much with it. But I do like human design, and I do like cardology. And I feel like I have an advantage with learning these new apparatuses because I learned astrology first.
Mm,
And I just feel like, and even then, still trying to learn those, they don't really stick as easy as astrology did for me. I think everybody has their thing that clicks for them, it just works for them, that they really have an affinity to. And mine is astrology, but I do find an interest in human design and cardology.
right. No, I agree with that too. And I think astrology, one of the things that the barrier of entry for astrology is pretty low. And what I mean by that is it's really easy to learn once you memorize, the planets, the aspects, and the signs and whatnot. And it's somewhat simple in its expression. All you really do, you learn, you memorize these things, and you try to like add context to it. But with astrology, it's a good baseline for other things that I think are based on astrology, or at least some kind of derivative, right? So when you look at human design or cardology, there are a lot of overlap between astrology and those different studies and those different fields of study. So I
Absolutely.
agree with that. So what would you say is like, uh, you gravitate more towards astrology, but if you could, dive into something else deeper, would it be the cardology or would it be the human design aspect?
Um, That's a tough one. I think cardology, because I
Hmm.
love to play, spades and stuff like that at the house. So,
Yeah, right. Yeah.
and it's easier just to, when we're playing with people, you can just read them real quick.
Oh, yeah, yeah. That's
I like
awesome.
stuff like that. So I think cardology would be my jam.
Nice, nice. So, um, what another question I wanted to ask was about like, your mystical transformations website. It's such a great website for people to really learn and to really get their feet wet. What are some of the things that you would like, I guess, people to know about the website, or like how to approach it, or a step-by-step approach to learning?
Okay, so on my website, I have a blog series where I sort of broke down the basic fundamentals, like the planets, what they are,
Hmm.
signs, the houses, and things like that. And then I have a little challenge on one of those where you can sort of try to interpret your chart with astrological sentencing. Um, Kind of need to update the site. But it's just something, just something they can sort of look for reference if they're just trying to learn, some fundamentals.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay, cool, cool. So again, I appreciate you taking the time to chat. Well, and before we sign off, I want to give you an opportunity to sort of like, plug some of the work, the new work you're doing, maybe the Astrology Club, some of the rooms you're hosting, anything you're working on, your YouTube channel. Um, tell people about it, who may not know already.
Okay. Yeah, so I still have my website, my blogs that I've been working on. I am working on relaunching my podcast. I'm going to get that up and running once again.
Nice.
We're doing the Rich Rising Room every morning at 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on the Astrology Club.
Hmm.
What else do I have going on? Oh, I'm working on a webinar. I'm going to put some webinars on my website as well. So I'm working.
Awesome. Gotcha. And tell people where they can, what's the best place for them to reach you for either booking an astrology session, natal chart reading, or even just like a one-on-one session with you.
Okay, so the best place to reach me is my website,
Hmm.
mysticaltransformations.com.
Gotcha. All right, Dominique, I appreciate it. This was a good chat.
Thank you so much. This was awesome. This
Yeah. Hopefully we can do this again sometime soon, right?
absolutely.
Gotcha. Well, all right. Well, I'm going to end it here. And I'll provide some links down in the discussion below so that anyone who wants to reach out to you or for your website, they can easily reach it.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
No problem. All right. Bye.
Bye.